right. Well, welcome everybody to the Clinton Region Business Roundtable, our April edition. Today is April 23rd. We are recording this for playback, so expect an email from me. Also, the recording will be available on YouTube and our social media platforms. My name is Andy Sokolovich. I am the Vice President of Economic Development here at the Clinton Regional Development Corporation, and I'm excited today to learn more about what's offered through the Mississippi Valley Workforce Development Area, specifically Iowa Works and their partners. So if you're not speaking, please go ahead and mute yourself so we don't have any feedback during the broadcast. Today we were going to feature Miranda Swafford, but there's some scheduling issues and some tech issues. So we do have a rock star team of workforce professionals I'm excited to introduce. And Jamie, I'm going to let you lead the conversation today. We also have Scott Schneider and Becky Hanna with us as well to talk about their roles in workforce development. If you have any questions, please just hover over. You'll see on your top right screen, there's a little button with a smiley face and a hand. You can raise your hand and then I'll get an indication on my end that you have a question, or you can hover over a little conversation bubble there and you can type your question directly into the chat. Once we're done with the presentation, we will go ahead and open up the platform for Q&A as well. So Jamie McLaughlin, go ahead and take it over.
Thanks, Andy. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us to find out more about what we do here at Iowa Workforce. So today, some of our presenters, as Andy said, I'll be filling in for Jacqueline, and we have Scott Snyder, the Dean of Education from Eastern Iowa Community College, and Becky Hanna from Vocational Rehab. Rehab, filling in for Chad Pratt. So thanks for joining us this morning. We have some slides that we're gonna go through. So Andy, we could go to the first one.
Already there. Can you see it?
Yep. So we are Iowa Work Centers, and we're the Mississippi Valley Workforce Area. So the Mississippi Valley Workforce Board oversees 8 counties. And so we're made up of a lot of partners and a lot of services. This is a little overview of some of the things that we'll touch base on today, from job postings to pre-screening, hiring people with disabilities, customizing training and solutions for companies, and hiring veterans. The Mississippi Valley Workforce Area has 2 Iowa Work Centers. So one is in West Burlington and one is in Davenport. So those covers both those 8 or all those 8 counties. There's no wrong door at Iowa Works. So any of our dedicated staff are here to assist you and help you with any business needs. So if you're really not sure who to turn to, you can reach out to anyone at Iowa Works and we'll get you to who you need to talk to. So our staff at Iowa Works understands that businesses need to run and you need to be skilled, dependable employees to work at your company, and just to meet the customer demand. Iowa Works is an alley of assisting companies to achieve real bottom line advantages. We can provide trained, pre-screened job candidates, saving your company recruitment time and to reduce those advertising and hiring and search costs. Iowa Works can also provide assistance to employers for new startup companies, companies that are expanding, companies that need to hire extra staff for seasonal hiring, as well as filling any vacant positions as they occur throughout the year. Staff assist in recruitment, testing, receiving, and screening, pre-screening applicants, helping with resumes, reviewing them, and matching those job seekers to employers' need in our communities. All of our services here are at no cost to employers. We can assist businesses who are hiring with creating profiles to promote their job opportunities. We can share the National Labor Exchange Index for job openings from thousands of corporate websites, state websites, to increase businesses to reach those qualified candidates, and the ability to search candidate resumes in our system. Our staff can also help write your job postings. We can provide advice on your current postings. So if they're not getting real noticed or anything, we can help you with some suggestions. We can help you self-manage your job postings in Iowa Works, or we can manage them for you. We have expert advice on more effective ways to outreach to candidates through some of our past experiences. Hiring events, we do a lot around here. We provide meeting spaces for employers, and that's kind of before COVID time, which we hope to get back to that real soon. We have event promotions and events that help you meet, screen, and hire future employees. Events can be customized for both small scale and large scale hiring needs. The picture that is on the screen right now is from one of our first job fairs that we held last fall in the Davenport area. And so we're expecting around 100 people, and we had between 400 and 500 people, and like 35 or more businesses. So it was pretty large scale, but we do have businesses when we get back opening come in and use some of our conference rooms, and they will hire in our offices. We have computers here, so we can do some testing or screening if they need to do that as they're interviewing for their job openings.
Thank you, Jamie. And real quick plug, May 28th from 11 to 1, we're going to be hosting a drive-through career fair here in Clinton. Again, that's May 28th from 11 to 1. What we're asking employers to do is just provide us with basically a one sheet or a flyer listing the jobs they have available. We're going to stuff all those into a bag, and we'll be partnering with Deanna's Java Station out on Lincoln Way, where those job candidates or job seekers will be able to pull up, grab a bag, get a coupon for a free cup of coffee, and drive away. So it's somewhat social distance. It's a non-contact event, but we held one back in October or November, and I believe it was very successful. So hopefully the spring results in a larger turnout. So May 28th from 11 to 1, just get a hold of me if you want to put in some flyers for your job announcements.
Thanks, Andy, for bringing that up. Yes, so we're excited to participate in that with you on May 25th. Hiring events, some other ones we're going to be doing down the road is a manufacturing virtual event through Brazen. It's a platform that the state had purchased some slots in there, so we can try some of the virtual job fairs in our communities for companies, and so we can specify like industry-wise, or we can just have it open to all employers. So we're actually holding our first one on the 28th of this month. It's a small one for us to get started. We have about 14 manufacturers. And so far we have about 60 job seekers that are in the process of getting signed up for that. So we plan out over the next year having more of those virtual ones along with the job fair ones that Andy talked about. We can also serve it as an extension of your HR team to make hiring more efficient and to lead to better employment retention. And we can offer to screen candidates for qualifications, experience, interest, and job readiness. So in the past at Iowa Works, we've had large companies hiring a large amount of people, so our staff can support their companies in that, go on site and help do some of that pre-screening. So this is, some of it is kind of like we can go on site for a new company that's coming into the area, a company expanding. So we have a whole team here that can either do it here at our location or on site at that company, doing some of that pre-screening, which saves companies a lot of time to make sure we can get down to the skills that they're looking for.
And correction, my colleague just schooled me. It's May 25th is our drive-through career fair, not the 28th.
Yes.
Okay, 25th.
Yes, 25th is the drive-through.
I get excited. I get excited about drive-through career fairs.
I know. It is a fun way to connect with job seekers. So we can do, so this is kind of an example of a pre-screen. If a company has a large hiring event or a hiring need, they can utilize either our location, or we can be on their we can be on site at their location to help with that first level of interviews. We have also a National Career Readiness Certificate. So the NCRC is kind of job skills assessment system that helps employers select, hire, and train and develop and retain high performance workforce. This series of tests measures foundational and soft skills and offers specialized assignments to target needs of that company. So for instance, it can kind of test on reading, writing. So if we need some other assistance, we reach out to our partner, the Eastern Iowa Community College, and maybe work through some of those services that you will hear about soon from Scott. The qualified veteran job candidates, the Iowa Work System has ability to search for veterans. The statewide job bank puts a 24-hour hold on all listings to give veterans the priority of service, meaning that they get the first notification of new opportunities in our community. Home-based Iowa, that's something that Jacqueline can kind of assist companies with. I know Andy in the Clinton area is a real big advocate for home-based Iowa. Home-based Iowa is veterans, job seekers can post resumes on the site, and employers who signed on as an HBI supporter have access to search for qualified veteran candidates. So it's a way for veterans, companies to reach out to see veterans, maybe recruit veterans to our area, to Iowa to work. So it's a great way if you're interested in hiring veterans for your company.
Yeah, just to touch a little bit more on that. So home-based Iowa, Clinton County, if you're not familiar, we offer a $1,500 to $1,500 home closing cost reimbursement for any veteran that moves into our county. And that, again, is an incentive that you can offer as employers at no additional cost to you. We also offer per diem reimbursement should somebody come and interview with a company based in Clinton County and they incur some kind of expense like a hotel stay or meals. They can actually take those receipts if they're hired to the Clinton County auditor for full reimbursement up to $275 expenses. And then we also have a whole bunch of bells and whistles through our different municipalities. So what I do is if you're on my human resource master list, if you're not, go ahead and email me. I will go ahead and type my email into the chat. But every month I send out a full list of those veterans who have uploaded their resumes to the homebaseiowa.gov database. I strongly encourage you just to pick up the phone or send an email and reach out to those vets because they have already indicated through Homebase Iowa they are interested in careers in Iowa. So it's a great resource. Again, if you want me to add you to that master list, I'll put my email address in the chat box here, and I would be happy to do so. Thanks, Jamie.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Andy. That's such a great service that you provide there in Clinton for veterans also. So thank you for doing all that. The HR training on current topics, so some of the things that we can help with is registered apprenticeships, prevailing wages, state job banks, unemployment laws, labor market information, workers' comp, the work opportunity tax credit, federal bonding, labor law, and work-based learning. So work-based learning is a little bit what I'm trying to get out to employers in our 8 counties. It's something that I've been working on. So it's kind of learning that occurs in the workplace, and it helps individuals gain the knowledge, skills, and experience need to enter or advance in a specific career. So work-based learning benefits both the job seeker and the business by upskilling individuals and assisting employers to offset those training costs of potential job candidates. So work-based learning is when a company is willing to train a new employee for a short amount of time so they can gain skills and knowledge about an industry. And we would be their employer of choice. So we would make sure and we would be their employee so we could pay them wages while they did that for your company. Some examples of work-based learning. is job shadowing, internship, work experience, on-the-job training, and registered apprenticeships.
Real quick, we do have a question from Daryl Hogue. Daryl, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thanks for putting this together. So I guess I'm an Illinois person. So if I understand this correctly, I've not seen this model being used. So if I understand it correctly, Iowa Workforce is the employer of record. And if a student spends 3 or 4 hours a day at a work site, it's Iowa Workforce who pays that student, not the company. Did I understand that correct?
Well, actually, it would be a workplace. So the work experience would be somebody that's in one of our workforce programs. So it would be the grant that actually would be the employer. And so we could pay a company if they're willing to like train a student that was in our program, because we do have a youth program that's from 16 to 24. So a lot of times we're trying to help students that are in our programs gain some work knowledge or experience. So it's almost like they're interested in, say, a medical field or construction. And so if that company is willing to take them on up to 560 hours, and we do a training plan with that company. So the whole purpose is so that person that has no skills or no work experience now has some work experience and skills. And a lot of times they're very interested in going into that industry, but it gives them some real life experience. So yes, so the work experience is very short term. It's a training plan. We work with the company, and our workforce grant would be the employer of choice that could pay the wages while that's happening.
Again, out of curiosity, I always look for creative ways to do this, and that I think students who do some of this work and training are better connected to the process when there is some sort of payment to them. What, out of curiosity, are some examples of how much a student gets paid, and then what is it vary by industry? Yeah, just maybe talk about that.
Yeah, so a little bit about our workforce training programs is we have like 3 categories. So we have youth from 16 to 24. We have adult. I guess first of all, our youth would have to have some kind of a barrier to be eligible for our program. For instance, they left high school. They've been in the system of some sort, so some kind of barrier or learning disability, and then we can enroll that individual into our youth program. So a lot of times our youth program will overlap since it goes up to 24, but our adult program is somebody that is below poverty line or maybe already receiving assistance. So we want to upskill that individual so they would be eligible for our program. And then a dislocated would be another category, and that pretty much is kind of how, if it's somebody that's lost their job, no fault of their own, they're collecting unemployment. So basically that's kind of a quick snapshot how to be eligible for our workplace training programs. And as far as the wage for, say, if a student was enrolled in our program, whatever you would normally pay somebody to start a position in that position, so say it's an office position, to help in the office, to show them some of the skills about working in a certain industry, we would try to do the prevailing wage, whatever normally would be paid.
Sure. And again, I hate to sort of monopolize this portion, but this intrigues me. So I understand the federally supported initiatives to help the poverty concerns, the displaced workers, all those statuses. Aside from those, again, and I kind of speak for all of us here, I think, and hope, is that schools have plenty of thriving students who would be great employees, who both the employer and the schools, I think, are trying to figure out the best way to plug those kids in as well. And are there federal opportunities or state opportunities on both sides of the river to grow those things? Because that's where I think, the general population deserves some support as well.
Right. Yes, we reach out to, the community colleges are our partners. So part of this grant also is not just work-based learning. They also, if they're eligible for the program, we can train them in an approved training program for up to 2 years. So we can train in for a 2-year degree, short-term training, CDL training, CNA, if they're interested in, the healthcare industry. So there's a lot of different options. A lot of times, our students need some work while they're going to school and they're in our program. So we're not only helping them with tuition and supportive services, if they qualify, sometimes mileage, childcare, uniforms, tools, whatever is needed, books. But we can also try to place them at an employer for some work experience. So right now, for instance, we're working with a few healthcare and hospitals with medical assisting that are going through their externships, which is normally not paid. But if they're eligible for our program, we can actually get them paid for that time, which really helps them out. Does that answer your question a little bit?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much, Daryl.
So on the job training, Daryl, this might be another thing that interested you and others is we have a lot of companies that would like to participate in this. So it's employer design training. It's training focused is precisely on the skills that matter to that business. So 50% of the employee wages can be reimbursed for a defined period. So we also take reverse referrals. So if you know an individual that you want to see if is eligible for our program, we can definitely talk with them and and ask them the questions and make sure that they would be eligible and then get them enrolled. So the on-the-job trainings are eligible for the supportive services like I talked about before, and then also it saves companies money. So the difference between this and say work experience, on the job training is an individual that we kind of match up to an employer, and they interview them and they were going to hire and they hire them. So they hire them like the employer would be the employer of choice. So they would be their employee from day one. The only difference is that individual is in our program. So we can do a training program with that company. And so it can be up to 6 months. So we do a skills gap analysis to see what skills that individual already has and which ones they're going to be learning at their new career. So it can be up to 6 months. We can reimburse that company 50% of the wages for that employee during that time, which really helps companies reinvest that employees. We do evaluations throughout that time and we work closely with the company. So there's no difference except they have our support. They're in our program. So they not only have the company that just hired them, their support, but also our support. So we can help them if they need uniforms for that new job. If they're struggling till they get a few paychecks, we can help them with mileage. Some of the positions we put people in, they need tools, steel-toed boots, so we can help with some of those things. Registered apprenticeships is pretty similar to on-the-job training. So it's when one of our applicants would be in a registered apprenticeship through Iowa Works, we can kind of offset some of those training costs to enroll that person and we can also maybe assist with some classroom training. And also we can do those supportive services. So we have a few apprenticeships that need tools to start off with, so we can help with some of those costs, and then some like mileage and things like that. But they would be working for that company and working towards that registered apprenticeship.
Quick question, Jamie. So this is an apprenticeship that is established through the employer already, and you're just assisting. It's not an apprenticeship that's established through Iowa Works, correct?
Correct. So we have both of them. So we have a list of approved apprenticeships through the state of Iowa. So a lot of times we can connect some of our job seekers and people that are in some of our programs towards them. So if they happen to be in our program and they apply for one of those registered apprenticeships and get it, then we can assist them that way. Also, we have companies that are interested in making some of their jobs registered apprenticeships. We can also get them connected to people with the state that can help them through that process, getting it on that approved list through the state of Iowa. And so I think registered apprenticeships have really grown. So they're not just welding, construction. So, you know, we have all different kinds of approved apprenticeships through the state of Iowa. So it's very interesting how that has expanded over the years.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm Becky Hanna, and I am a rehabilitation counselor with Iowa Vocational Rehabilitation Services. I'm filling in today for my supervisor, Chad Pratz. Basically, we work in conjunction with Iowa Works together. We have two two services that we help. One is the job candidates, and then the other one is actual businesses. So those are our two customers, as we say. So some things that we can do, information on assistive technology devices and services. So that would be something, an example would be like if someone needs hearing aids in order to do the job or live life in order to do the job, you know, that would be something that we can help pay for. Job and worksite analysis, we can provide these. So an example, someone was struggling with, they had a stroke and now they kind of need to stand, but they need to sit. And so I sent out someone who does the worksite analysis, and they went to their job site and figured out we can get them a standing desk. That way they can put it up and down as needed, you know, with a mat underneath their feet. And, you know, there's different types of keyboards and all types of stuff. The neat thing is that we have access to the Easter Seals library they have so many different devices that you wouldn't even think of. Pens that write on paper and then transcribe it to the computer and just different stuff like that. It's kind of like a try it before you buy it type of thing, and they can figure out what works best for them, and then we can help them purchase it, and therefore it helps the employer as well. So we can also do education and awareness training. We can do consultation, you know, with ADA stuff, disability awareness and sensitivity training. Sometimes people just don't know what language to use, so we can help with that. Information and assistance with specific types of disabilities. We can help businesses understand what types of disabilities are out there and how that might affect the job. Identifying essential work functions, disability etiquette in the workplace, and there are different tax credits that we can help employers and job candidates understand and how to advocate for themselves as well. And then the pre-employment training on-site and virtually, we can help with that. Also, tuition assistance is a big thing that we help with. If someone has a goal and, you know, their job goal is to be, let's say, a nurse or something like that, if it is within their goal that they need the training, we can help pay for that. So That's kind of nice. We don't pay for all of the schooling, and we do have to say no sometimes depending on what it is. But as long as it kind of fits in line with their job goal, we can help them with that.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Scott Schneider. I'm the Dean of Adult Education for Eastern Iowa Community Colleges. And the adult education and literacy programs are a core partner with the Iowa Workforce Development Team. With regard to the services that are provided for our business partners, you can see here that we have 2 community colleges within our service area, Eastern Iowa Community Colleges and Southeastern Community College. And you can see here the locations where we have physical in-person classes available for our adult education and literacy programs. The next slide talks about some of the various services that are available through adult education and literacy. Essentially, our calling is to serve individuals in the area of adult basic education, high school equivalency, and English language acquisition. And then in addition to those core essential services, the list of additional services includes soft skill training. We just recently, as a state organization, subscribed to a new software platform called Skills USA that is a nationally endorsed program for the delivery of soft skills training. It's modularized into 5 components. Each has a sub-certification, and then students can earn an overall certification by completing all 5 components of the program. We offer digital literacy assessment and preparation. This pandemic has caused us to move in a direction that wasn't natural for us, just like everyone else. But one of the things that we discovered as we moved all of our services to a remote format is that we have students who struggle with digital literacy skills, who it became a barrier for them to access our services because they either didn't have the technology or had possessed the technology but weren't skilled enough to be able to access Zoom sessions and those types of things. And so we do an extensive assessment of an individual's digital literacy skills, and then provide them the training that may be needed in order to fill some of those skill gaps. We offer services in career exploration, civics education, workplace readiness, college prep. The integrated education and training is a concept where we take adult basic education or English language acquisition preparation and merge that with workplace skills. And so essentially what they're doing is they're learning the concepts of a particular job classification. They're in a class that would lead toward either a workplace certification, or it would be a co-enrolled in a credit class that would lead toward a degree that would lead to employment. And then that class is team taught with an adult education instructor who helps take the concepts that are being learned in class and applying the adult education skills that are necessary in order for them to be successful. So and that's a service that we can provide either at our locations or we can bring it out to the business locations. We offer customized training for businesses on site. We work with the HR director or the training director to identify workplace skills, workplace language that is applicable to the instruction, and then we build a curriculum, a learning experience around that, so that your incumbent workers can take advantage of English language acquisition training or adult basic education / high school equivalency, and learn the concepts that are necessary to advance their English skills or their high school eligibility skills, at the same time applying those to job-specific terminology, job-specific processes and procedures within the workplace. Let's see. Again, classes can be attended at any of our locations. We also offer online Zoom options. We offer morning and evening options. That's the standardized schedule. Again, we also can customize that and deliver it on site to business and industry as needed. There's no cost for our services with the exception of the HiSET exam, which is the final exam for the high school equivalency program. There's a $53.75 charge for that exam battery. We offer career navigator services as well that essentially provide those wraparound services to students. They look into career exploration. They look into the education required in order to enter into a career that they're interested in. We help them make connections with the community college, with credit or non-credit programming that will help them in their pathway to workplace success. And then we also help them in making those connections to the workplace as well.
Some of the rapid response activities we do here is pretty proactive. So we primarily was designed to respond to layoff and plant closures quickly by coordinating all of our services. So all of our partners today are involved in those rapid response activities. And we try to provide all the services to the business and their impacted employees. Some of the activities is career counseling, pre-employment workshops, unemployment assistance, labor market information, referrals, and we can actually hold a job fair for all those individuals that might be losing their jobs. So we go on site, we meet with the company, the job seekers, and see what the need is there. And then try to make sure they're aware of all the services that are eligible to them to help them find employment again, or to maybe getting some kind of training to upskill or to get a degree. We can also customize for workforce needs. So if there is a particular need that isn't listed, you're a seasonal business, you're expanding, you have a high turnover, with certain key positions, our goal is to develop and create solutions for your businesses. So a lot of times what I do is I do a business needs assessment. So I meet with the company virtually or in person, and we just kind of go over some of their needs, and we see what services that they're eligible for, that is a good fit for them. So the one good thing, I guess, is Iowa Works. We have a lot of services and agencies and partners here. So if you're not really sure what you need or you're trying to find somebody, we can definitely get you pointed in the right direction. We work together. We all have different grants and things that can help individuals. So a lot of times an individual could be receiving a little bit of our grant for certain things, and then maybe something through the college, something for voc rehab. So what we do is try to provide enough support for that individual to make sure that they have that support to be successful. So you can contact us at either location, and we will get you to who you need to talk to and try to help you the best we can.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jamie. If you guys wouldn't mind, Jamie, Scott, and Becky, go ahead and type your email addresses into the chat box so I have a record of that. You know, as we can tell for everybody that's listening, there's a tremendous amount of resources that are out there to support workforce development, whether it's working with incumbent workers or working with individuals who are seeking career opportunities. So I strongly encourage you to contact their office. And even if you don't have a huge workforce demand now, at least become educated as to what they offer. So I've worked with Jamie on several different projects. I know their team is rock solid. I work closely with the Clinton Community College and Eastern Iowa Community Colleges. And for example, currently we're working on a custom training curriculum for one of our larger employers within the area. So if you have a hard time filling vacancies, please leverage these resources. Again, they're free, so don't leave the money on the table. Take advantage of it. Does anybody have any questions here? I see that there's one hand that's possibly raised. No, that was Daryl. Does anybody else have any questions? You can feel free to just unmute yourself. All right, hearing none. Jamie, you must have done a fantastic job covering all the information. So thank you so much to you. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Becky, for taking the time to join us this morning. And thank you to everybody that sat in on the webinar. Again, I will be recording this and making it available to those that registered for the event, as well as sending it out to the HR task force. Again, the HR Task Force is a group of HR professionals that we have here throughout the greater Clinton region. I send tons of information out regarding workforce development services, Home Base Iowa, our Clinton County student loan payback program, and all sorts of different stuff. So if you want to be added to that list, go ahead and just type your name in the chat, and I will make sure that you are added. So if there's yeah, thank you. It's Friday, everybody. Smile, right? All right, again, my name is Andy Sokolovich. I'm the Vice President of Economic Development here at the Clinton Regional Development Corporation, and I'll talk to you guys soon. See ya and enjoy your weekend.